welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your yarn host, Jennifer. Now first I'm going to say that the video looks off-colored. I don't know why, so if it comes out, it's looking purpley. I don't know why. I apologize. This is kind of a last minute video. I just thought maybe you'd like to join me while I wind up some yarn. I was unable to pre-record a video today because life. Life as a mommy, life as a adult. I had to go to the DMV today because, as you may recall, my license expired on my birthday. And Mr. Cinnamon was able to get me an appointment at a DMV way up north. So we had to drive all the way up north. But it was a beautiful drive. It was very scenic. Now, up north for me is not like, let's say in Michigan. Like if I go up north in Michigan, I'm going up to nature and, you know, backcountry, beautiful scenery type things. But here in Virginia, up north is DC. I didn't have to go all the way to DC, but I had to go up that direction. And yeah, traffic is horrendous here. We have one major freeway, but we ended up taking some back roads. It was a beautiful drive, and the little city that the DMV was actually in was quite gorgeous. Now this is wet yarn. I do not normally recommend doing this with wet yarn. I am hanking it up because I had a last minute idea to dye some yarn with some natural fibers, and instead of hanking it up, I just threw the whole ball in there. So I'll explain what that is in a minute. But yeah, the DMV, the appointment was kind of cool because we had to make the appointment ahead of time, and then they actually came to the car when we pulled in the parking lot. And when they did that, they asked my name, and we were 45 minutes because around here you have to be early because you have no idea how long traffic is going to take you to get anywhere. It's just, traffic is bad. Traffic is as bad here as it is in LA. And what's crazy is there's significantly less traffic, but I don't even know if there's less traffic. But our freeways are 2 and 3 and maybe 4 lanes wide, whereas in California, like some of their highways are 8 lanes wide. So I think there's less people on the road, but because the highways are smaller, we only have one major highway. I cannot find the end to this. They're probably laughing at me fumbling with this dang yarn. This yarn is kind of cool, but I need to hank it up so that it can dry so that I can rewash it because it smells a little stinky. And the reason it smells stinky is because what I used to dye it. I wanted to really, my hands are still like, and I'm not going to show you, they're bad. They're starting to blister at the fingertips, and like the tips of my fingertips are peeling off. So I cannot, as of this moment, crochet or knit at all. But if I'm careful, I can work with yarn this way. But I did not want to go back to using any sort of chemicals because I'm scared right now. I'm starting to heal up a little bit, but you know, I don't want to make it any worse. I had to actually call the doctor because it didn't seem to be getting better and get even more steroids. I cannot find the end of this. Let's try finding a center pole. I can't find the end. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find the middle. You guys are probably laughing at me. But hey, this is why I show my mistakes and my mess ups, because it happens to all of us. Just because I have a channel don't mean I'm special. Anyway, so this is going to be a tangly mess. I'm just telling you already. I just thought I'd come in and have a little talk with you guys. While I'm doing this, I thought about going live, but honestly, I can't see the comments from here, and I don't want people to feel like I'm ignoring them. And honestly, going live makes me so nervous. I've only went live like one time, and I was I was awkward. I am very, very socially awkward in real life. Well, anyway, hopefully this still feels like you guys are keeping me company or sitting with me. So this might be a long one. I have no idea. I'm actually making progress. This is still damp, like I said. So I gotta be careful with it because I don't want to damage the fibers, because this actually has cashmere in it, which is why I want to take extra care to get it dried. I don't want it to get moldy. And because I used natural plant-based things, there is a chance it could mold, and I do not want that. Yeah, so we went out, I think it was, I don't remember what day it was. We went out, let me move some of this stuff out of the way. We went out the other day, and I was trying to figure out some natural ways to dye yarn that didn't involve like chemicals or whatever. And so I actually found this guy. His name is Cabin Boy Knits, and I will link him below. I love watching his videos. I'm pretty sure he's naked in some of them. I swear. There's a couple videos where he looks like he just has an apron on and nothing underneath. Anyway, he lives in a cabin. I have only watched a couple of his videos because I really like his natural dyeing videos. And he was dyeing with goldenrod. And I recognized the plant right away because we have a ton of it growing around us right now. Like, it must be in its peak season. And so I told Mr. Cinnamon, I was like, I really want to go find some goldenrod. And there is a corner by my house that is, it has this really old abandoned red, it looks like a farmhouse. And it is falling down, like the roof is caving in. Like, it needs to be tore down or something. But in the yard, at one time, I'm assuming it was a beautiful yard. It has wild roses growing, wild raspberries, blackberries, giant yucca plants, and chamomile, and there's a big patch of goldenrod. And I told Mr. Cinnamon, I said, well, maybe we can go up there and I'll hop out and pick some goldenrod. Well, he didn't want to stop there because it is a busy intersection and there's not really any place safe to pull off. And so he's all, let's just go. Now, what I tell you guys is secret because technically we broke the law. Okay? So don't tell nobody. But we went out to the battlefield, and on the edge of the battlefield property it's actually it's owned by the national park, so you're not supposed to take anything from the national parks. But I think the spot where we stopped was actually farmland or abandoned farmland, so I don't think it was actually part of the national parks, but I still felt guilty because I don't like picking flowers. I mean, I know it's against the law, and I know why it's against the law at the national parks, and I'm cool, I support that. But there was this huge batch in this field of goldenrod, and so we went and picked it. And well, I didn't get out of the car. I didn't pick nothing. The reason I didn't get out is because my hands were like really super itchy and bothering me. But my daughter, who likes to pick flowers, her and little man got out and actually picked me quite a bunch of goldenrod. And I will insert a picture, but I totally put the goldenrod picture on, I think, Facebook and Instagram. So I picked it, well, they picked it, put it in a grocery store bag. And then we didn't pick that much. We picked, like, the grocery store bag was not entirely full. But, anyway, my daughter looked hilarious out there because she dresses very, her own style. So she was wearing black from head to toe. She had black, almost combat boots on, and a backpack. She just looked like hilarious out there, and she didn't look like she belonged in a field. She looked like she belonged at a rock concert. She's out there picking goldenrod for me, and I messed up somewhere. There we go. Anyway, so we brought it home, and I followed Cabin Boy Knit's directions. I watched a couple other videos too. I put a mordant, which was alum, and I put cream of tartar in with the boiling water with the flowers. And I didn't quite boil it, but I like simmered it for probably over an hour. And then I threw the yarn in. And this is the color that I got. Isn't that pretty? It's so like, that is really true to color. It's very, very beautiful yellow. I am so happy with that. But I think I'm gonna, when my hands heal up a little bit, I think I'm gonna put some, I think I want to put pink speckles on there. I think the pink might turn some of the speckles orange with that, but I just think it'll be so pretty. So that's what I want to do with that. And this green that I'm working with, this was crazy. Now, from what I read, red cabbage will dye stuff, but it's not color fast, so it either won't strike very well, or it will, the color won't be very bold, and it will, you know, it's called a fugitive dye, because more often than not, you will lose the color, and you won't have vibrant, beautiful yarns. But I wanted to try it anyway, and I was like, why the heck not? You know, I have blank yarn lying around. I'm bored out of my ever-loving mind because I can't knit and crochet. So why not try the red cabbage? So I went and bought two heads of red cabbage, and I boiled the heck out of it for about an hour. And again, I drained all I took the cabbage out. And I had just the stock, the broth left over. So it smelled very fragrant in the house. And I took, and I will post a picture here. What I did was I poured, actually I might put a little video clip in here somewhere. I poured the broth into 4 different mason jars, because with the red cabbage, you can get it to change colors if you change the pH. So if you add vinegar, it will turn more pink, because the liquid that comes off red cabbage is not what you would think. It doesn't look like the red cabbage. It actually comes out royal purple. And if you add vinegar, it changes the color more pink. And if you add baking soda, it changes the liquid to more blue, which this green came from baking soda being added to cabbage water, red cabbage water. So it's a little bit stinky because you can't properly wash it when it's in the ball form, which is why I want to dry it out and then rewash it with some more soap. But I was really surprised with how it turned out, because I was thinking I'm wasting all my time on this. It's just all the color will bleed out. And I watched a couple of videos where people used red cabbage. I watched a video from Rebecca from ChemKnits, and I will link that video below if I can remember. She did red cabbage, and she got very, very pastel colors. But instead of pre-mordanting the yarn, so like soaking the yarn in mordant ahead of time, I added the mordant to the dye bath. So I took, and yeah, my hands are itching. They're itching. And I know you guys are probably bored listening to me. Anyway, so I took the cabbage liquid and I poured it into 4 mason jars. And I had just the regular cabbage water in one. I added a ton of, I would say probably 1/4 cup of vinegar to one dye bath. I added probably 1/4 cup of baking soda to the other dye bath. And then I had some liquid left over, which is why I brought the 4th mason jar out. And when I brought the 4th mason jar out, I was like, okay, I'm going to add the teeniest bit of baking soda and see what happens. And so instead of this green color with a ton of baking soda, I got this blue color. And then this one is, I think this one's the regular cabbage water, and this one is with vinegar. So I went more pink with the vinegar and more purple, just regular old cabbage water. That's all I did. That was just all the same cabbage water with baking soda or vinegar. It's crazy. I was like, it's kind of cool because I had the kids in here. I was like, look at what happened to the liquid. And I think I have a video of that. I think I have a video with the yarn because my phone died as I was doing it, so I couldn't record any of it. Because it was late at night, I was like, you know, doing my thing. I am so tangled. This is why you should prepare and hank your yarn before you dye it. I didn't do nothing. I just threw the whole ball in there. I mean, I don't mind untangling the yarn, but, you know. So, yeah, that has been my adventures in natural dyeing this week. It was kind of fun. And even if the color, like, if this dries and you can barely see the color on it, I can add speckles to it, and I think it'll be gorgeous anyway. When my hands heal up. There's something blue in here. Something blue. So, that's what I've been doing. Thought I'd pop on and share a little bit of that with you guys so you didn't miss me too much on our Friday that I normally upload on. I wish I had more to share with you, but last month I didn't order the Mary Maxim Crochet Knit Club, and so I was late ordering that this month. So that will probably be late. So you'll probably see everybody else post theirs before I post mine. But that's not a big deal to me. I don't have to be the first. Yeah, so what you guys been up to? I know you can't hear, I can't hear you back, but you can post in the comments what you've been up to this week. We got a lot going on. Little man had a dentist appointment yesterday. He's got a couple of cavities, which I'm not real happy about. His daddy keeps giving him soda, and so I blame Mr. Cinnamon for that. So we had to do that yesterday. Then today we had to drive an hour north to go to the DMV for me, but that was actually quite painless. I went and it was kind of cool because they had the 3 windows, and then they had a chair 6 feet from each one of those 3 windows. So they were all 3 windows were waiting on somebody, and then they sat 3 people in the chairs behind them, and that's all they would let in the building. Because it was a tiny, tiny DMV. And I got sat behind window number 2 or 3 or something. And so I was the next up behind this guy who was halfway done with getting his license or whatever. And I already Mr. Cinnamon had me all prepared. He actually filled out the application for me. He had it ready for me. He had all my documentations ordered and ready for me. So I had my birth certificate, marriage license, etc., etc. So I went up to the window, and it was so embarrassing because I pull out my wallet, and my driver's license that is expired is in one of those sleeves where there's like a hole and you can push it out. I had my medicine all over my hands, which is slippery medicine. So I'm trying to fight this driver's license out of the hole. And the lady behind the plexiglass, she's all, I can help you get that out. So I had to slide my wallet out, and she popped my driver's license out with like 0 effort as I'm struggling with it. And I was like, I have medicine on my hands, which probably made her grossed out because she doesn't know if I'm infectious or not. That would gross me out. But I was too slippery. I couldn't do it. And then what's crazy is like when she took my photograph, she actually told me to smile. And my last picture on my driver's license is atrocious because we're in the process of buying this house. And I thought my driver's license would arrive at the last address before we moved in here. And the day after we moved into this house, my driver's license went to that house, and that landlord was such a jerk. He sent it back. So I had to go back down to the DMV, and this was not a 5-minute thing. This was like, I had to wait 45 minutes to even talk to somebody. And then she had an attitude that, well, you should have did this and you should have did that. So I was irritated with her. So when she snapped the picture, I was like grimacing. So for the past several years, my driver's license picture was bad. So today I actually felt kind of cute. I mean, I look rough now, but I felt kind of cute. She let me smile a little bit in the picture. So hopefully it's not a terrible DMV picture, because you never can tell with the DMV. So it was just crazy. And then next week, guys, I don't know what's going to happen next week. I'm going to try to pre-record some videos to upload because next week the kids are going back to school part-time. They're doing hybrid learning where they're home 2 days and they go to school 2 days. And I don't know how any of that's going to work. Honestly, I don't. And Mr. Cinnamon's going to be in the office, so it's just going to be me, and I might have a few minutes to myself, and I'm probably going to really enjoy that. Just being here and it being quiet, because it has been months and months and months since Mommy has had any time where she's not being a mommy and a wife and a dog mommy and an aunt and a all the things, and cinnamon stitches, all the things. So I don't, it's going to be a weird week. It's going to be a weird week. It's going to be like the first day of school all over again. And the kids are nervous. Well, little man is not nervous at all. He is such a social butterfly. He's such a people person. He cannot wait to be back amongst other people. He gets so like lonely. I don't even know if it's lonely here. He just likes social interaction so much. Like when you let him out of the house, he's like a dog that has been set free for the first time. Like he's all over the place. And if we drive past his friends he goes to school with house, he has to roll down the window and scream out the window, "Hi, so-and-so, hi, so-and-so." Like he just is like aching for, and that's not, I'm not that kind of person. Like that to me is so foreign, and my daughter is not that type of person. So it's so weird for us when he acts like that, because like, I don't know. We're just not, I'm kind of quiet and reserved, and she is very antisocial, which I was at her age too. So, you know, I'm steadily I feel bad because I'm not making eye contact with you guys because I'm playing with this yarn, but I don't know. Maybe you guys are enjoying me just ramble. Maybe we're about halfway through. It's not bad. The bad part is that it's wet, so it's like sticking to itself, and I don't want to like damage the fiber, so I gotta be extra careful. And it still has a cabbage smell, which is not pleasant. Very, very stinky. Well, that part smells like my soap. Maybe it's, yeah, it's that. See that pretty though? See the blues and the purples? Red cabbage, who would have thought? But I figured, I think these are only 50 gram, these might be 100 gram. I don't know, but regardless, even if the color bleaches out, like I had fun doing it, and I can always over dye them. What was crazy though is when this one was in the water, it looked like teal, like super, no, this one, super saturated teal. And I was like, that is so pretty. And then I was like, well, I need to make some teal because I don't have teal dye, and I just thought it was really pretty. So I may be making teal dye very soon, because I made teal for the one skein of yarn that made my hands so inflamed, and it turned out really pretty. I actually wrote down the recipe for that teal. So yeah, see, we're almost at 25 minutes. Are you guys still here? Is this mic still on? Oh my goodness. This is going to be like an In the Closet series, except a little bit less funny. Yeah. We're driving down the road coming back from the DMV, and Mr. Cinnamon is a very, very impatient driver. And we got stuck behind a pickup truck. And it was an old pickup truck. It was probably like a late 70s Chevrolet pickup truck, like the red and the white stripes. And he was hauling those giant circle hay bale things. And he had one in the back of his truck. And then he had 2 on a trailer, or 3 on a trailer. He was pulling behind it. He was going so slow. And I loved it because we were driving past, and like they had just milled over the open fields, and so you smell the dirt. I love the smell of fresh turned dirt. Oh my goodness. That's the gardener in me. And so I had the windows rolled down, and I was like, oh, it smells so good. And he's putzing, right, you know, put, because he's got all that bales of hay he's hauling. Mr. Cinnamon's getting irritated. It was a no passing zone. It was a tiny little road, And I'm like, just chill out, slow down. And then he goes, this guy better not turn, because we had to turn at the next street. And the guy put his blinker on, and Mr. Sim was getting irritated and getting irritated. I was like, just relax. And the guy is brushing the trees that were along the roadway, because it was a very small road. And so like all this hay and debris is like flying back at the car, so I had to roll up the window. And I was loving it, but Mr. Simon was getting irritated. And the guy pulls over, he goes around the corner, and he actually pulled off the road a little bit so we could pass him. Or that's where his destination was. But Mr. Simon was so happy to get around this truck. I was like, aww. It was like snowing hay on us. I was happy for that. I took a picture of that, but I don't know how well it'll turn out. If it's a good picture, I'll post it here. If it's a bad picture, you won't see it. And then we stopped at this little mom and pop shop. It's called Nick's Market and Deli or something. Me and my daughter love stopping at like little like mom and pop convenience stores, because they always have like snacks and drinks and stuff that you can't find at 7-Eleven. Because 7-Eleven is too big of a corporation to buy from like smaller companies. And so I was like going in those. And so Mr. Sim actually pulled off and stopped so we could go in and get snacks, because it was a long drive and the kids did not eat breakfast. And so we stopped to get snacks, and they actually had a ton of, I don't know if it was owned by Hispanic people or if there's just a lot of Hispanics in that area where we stopped, because it was a very it was in a country, like a rural area. But we stopped off, and they had a smoker out front. So the deli part was actually, they were selling smoked grilled barbecue meat, and it didn't smell good enough for me to want any of it, because I'm very picky with my barbecue. Like, we have a local barbecue guy here. His name is McCoy's Barbecue. If you ever heard of McCoy's and you're in Fredericksburg, Virginia, I'm telling you, he's only open on the weekend. I'm telling you, you need to stop, because he is so good. He's like the best barbecue. Anyway, you don't care about that. So they had a ton of, the reason I said Hispanic is they had a ton of Hispanic Mexican snacks. So Mr. Cinnamon got me my favorite, which is elote suckers. Elote is Mexican corn on a stick. And the car alarm across the street is going off. Anyway, hopefully that doesn't bother anybody. Those people in that car alarm have been going off day in and day out. They don't even use that car anymore. And you just, middle of the night, it's waking everybody in the house up because it's going off. I'm going to go over there and unplug the battery. Put a brick through the window. I don't like those people. Anyway, they're crazy. Anyway. You guys, this video is not going to make no sense. Anyway, elote is Mexican corn on a stick. It's usually covered in mayonnaise, cheese, and Mexican cheese, and chili powder. I like mine extra spicy. Anyway, they make suckers that look like elote. They are corn-flavored sucker with salty chili on the outside. It is good. Oh, they're my favorite. Because I don't like sweets. So, like, I like Mexican candies because a lot of times they're sour and salty. Which probably sounds gross to most of you, but I think they're delicious. Oh, yeah. So he got me some of those. And I got some Fritos that were chorizo and chipotle flavored. And honestly, they tasted like vomit. So I did not eat those. But it was fun to try a new snack. Even if it did taste like vomit. Yeah. But the kids got some chips and, you know, it was a fun little adventure to the DMV. And we actually got home and little man was like, that was the best trip in Virginia ever. He loves traveling. He loves hotels. He loves car rides to places. He just likes being out and seeing other people and other places. And I don't know. If he grows up and joins the military, it would not surprise me one bit. So he could see the world. Or maybe he'll just be one of those people that just travel for the heck of it. He just loves the world. He loves seeing everything, talking to new people. all that kind of stuff. He is a unique being. All right, well, I think I have officially run out of things to say, and I'm going to finish tackling this a little bit. It's going down. It's starting to get tedious, and I need to concentrate, and I don't think I can do two things at once anymore. So let me know what you guys are up to. Let me know what you think of my hand-dyed yarn. Like, well, my natural hand-dyed. This is so pretty. A lot of people saw the pictures and they thought it looked like ramen noodles or like buttered noodles or pasta or something in the pot, and it totally does. When you do like yellows of yarn, Mr. Cinnamon actually went in the kitchen when that was in the pot, and he leaned over to smell it because he thought it was food. And with the goldenrod smells like tea and honey. It's really strange. And so I liked the smell of it, but some of the other people in the house did not, but they don't really like tea. So, all right, I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you enjoyed this very strange Friday video, and I will hopefully be back on Monday. Bye, guys.